the Estonian, I would use the Estonian HR Society as an example. I joined not because I needed to join a community just for the fun of it, just for the social aspects, but because I knew that being in Estonia, being one, an African, not able to speak the language, it would be harder without the network to establish relationships and to get a foot in the door. So I joined the association, even though at the start of it, everything was always in Estonian, but my presence influenced them to expand to English. And I was very present. I didn't just go and immediately start asking, please, can you help me find a job? Please, I'm looking for work. No, they had events, they needed volunteers. Hey, can I volunteer? And I'm volunteering, setting up tables, putting up banners, welcoming guests, doing whatever needs to be done. And in that way, I'm building relationships with the people within the society. And these are the people who make hiring decisions in the organizations in Estonia. Not just the making hiring decisions, they influence them if they are not the ones making them outright. So even when I've applied to companies where, somebody there is not an active member of the society, they ask around, they always do. Do you know this person? Or they check me on LinkedIn, see that I'm connected to somebody they are connected with, they reach out to that person. I've actually been told this several times. Oh yeah, when we were going to hire you, we spoke to this person, they said they knew you, blah, blah, blah. We spoke to this person, they said they knew you. So it helps because there will be people behind the scenes advocating for you. Remember, I said that your network has to be people who can advocate for you where you are not there. Okay. And then the way I give back is because I sort of position myself as a thought leader, and I'm putting that in air quotes, is has given me the opportunity to give back to people when they ask for career advice, whether it's with their current roles, planning their path in their career future, or rewriting their CVs or optimizing their LinkedIn profiles, whatever, they come to me. A lot of times I offer these services for free. Of course, I do have paid clients, but there are people I look at and I think, okay, this person I can build a relationship with. And then I offer it for free. And then I'm providing value, hoping for future value. So, my takeaway from this is to say that great networking isn't about how many people you know. It's about the quality of the people you know and how many of these people trust you, know you, and can advocate for you. Build relationships before you need them. Give value before you ask. And then trust me, just watch your career and your business grow. I'm a personal case study for this. And I also have people who I have helped and guided who are also case studies for this. Some of them I'll mention in the course of this conversation. So for transactional, you would usually ask what I can get from this person versus what can I give for this person? What can I do for this person? Transactional is short-term versus long-term when it comes to transformational. Transactional is focused on quick benefits and transformation is focused on mutual growth. Notice mutual, not just focused on growth, your growth. It's a mutual growth, yours and your networks. And transactional ends after a single. Once you've gotten that benefit out of that person, you move on. The opposite is cultivating a meaningful relationship by following up. Sam, this is where the part about no need to remember their names comes in. Because if you follow up with people who have made an impact with you in the short term and you start to cultivate a relationship with them, you will remember their names because you have people already in your networks, you remember their names. So how did that happen? How did you build those people? How do you cultivate them into your network? You communicated with them consistently. You interacted with them. You engaged with them. So my challenge for everyone here today is that before this webinar ends, connect with at least one, but I'm guessing everybody knows everybody, right? Everybody knows everybody. You all know each other. I'll take that as a yes, since it's organized by one group. But maybe I would say connect more. I'm pretty sure it's not everyone here that you have a consistent interaction and engagement with. So my challenge to you would be to connect more, connect better, connect deeper, make it a more transformational interaction or network versus a transactional one. Let's see. On the surface level, not deep. Casey, I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Oof. Okay. Why partnerships matter. I feel like I'm really going slow, but I'm just trying to do the best with this subject because it's very important, one, and can have a huge impact on our success. All right. Yes, on the surface level, not deep versus knowing each other deeper. So you all know each other on a surface level, not deep. Got it. Okay. So yes, so try to have a deeper, more meaningful, more transformational connection so that it can have clear impact on where you see yourself in the next 2 to 5 years. Okay, let's talk about building meaningful partnerships. Imagine you are working on a major project and you lack the expertise in a specific area. Instead of struggling alone, what if you just had a trusted partner or person within your network that could fill that gap seamlessly? That's the power of strategic partnerships. A lot of people who set up businesses, and well, unfortunately, this is not a strong culture within Nigeria. Most people want to be the chief executive officer, founder, co-found everything and everything on their own. But you cannot overemphasize the power of partnerships. A lot of the successful, what do you call them, unicorns in Estonia are partnerships, whether siblings, husband and wife, or friends. A lot of them are partnerships. From Bolt to what's this other company? The one that's a husband and wife. It's a tech company. I can't remember what it's called. The lady has very blonde hair and it's always wild and all over the place. And a few other
That's
companies.
probably Twilio.
No, not Twilio, but not
It's
Twilio.
not? Okay.
There's another one. But a lot of Estonian startups, successful ones, are partnerships. Very rarely do you see one that's a solo entrepreneur who owns it. Because it's very important. Someone who fills the gaps that you have, because no person is 100% all-rounder. So whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a freelancer, whether you are a corporate professional, a lot of the times the right partnerships can unlock new opportunities, can expose you to new clients, and it can bring up new innovations into your business or your career. I don't think I'm gonna. I could ask how many people here are business owners? You can just raise your hands if you are a business owner, or you can just type yes if you are. I ask because I would like to know how many people have benefited from a partnership in their business. Jennifer, you're a business owner. I did not know that.
But I haven't benefited from a partnership.
Okay, okay. So is there anyone here who has benefited from a partnership in their business? Sam?
Scratch that. Actually, yes, I have. Sorry, but that was a long time ago, and it was quite meaningful.
Okay,
Offering services that you cannot offer, but is required in a total package.
okay. Sam, would you like to share?
Yeah. So there's this company where we have I have people that I'm partnering with. Everyone has their different area of expertise. One is a lawyer, the other one is a business owner. We have also an accountant as well. So these are all partners coming together to work on the business. So I think that's where the partnership comes in.
That's a great example. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
Okay, Lawrence says he has benefited from a partnership as well. Would this be in your business, Lawrence?
It's more or less,
Okay.
or it's almost the same with what Sam said, but this one is like this person owns the business, but they need a certain benefit that I can provide. So whenever the service is needed, they contact me and I provide the service, and that kind of sums it up. I'm not part of the board members or part of the running team of the business, but I'm part of it in the sense that when the service that I provide is needed, I'm always the go-to.
Okay. Okay, there you go. So now the reason you're probably the go-to is because you have certain qualifications, skills, talents that are needed. But it goes beyond that, because as business owners or even as career professionals, it's not everybody you want to network with. It's not everybody you want to partner with. Why? Because they have to be people who align with your values, your vision, and the benefits that you envisage for both yourself and for that person. In other words, not all partnerships are created equal. There are businesses who struggle because the founders, the co-founders, start to realize that they are not aligned in deep ways. So it has to go beyond the skills and the talents that the person brings to the table. The best partnerships are built on shared values, on a common vision, and mutual benefit. But then the question is, how do you find the right partners? Let's identify the 3 key factors of a successful partnership. Shared values. You have to align with people or organizations that have similar ethical and professional values. Ethics, very important, because it underlines what your moral values are. And nobody wants to work with someone who has no ethics, because it might be nice that their lack of ethics is benefiting you financially and it's impacting others negatively, but there will come a day when it's going to impact you negatively. Lack of ethics is not selective. Aligned vision. If you are not working with a partner that both of you are moving in the same direction, then you are essentially working against each other, which means that you would be slower to achieve your goals and it will be a tougher journey. And finally, mutual benefit. You should be gaining something from the partnership, something valuable, impactful. Otherwise, what's the point? There has to be a return on the investment that you're putting in, the investment of your time, your resources, your energy, everything. If there's no ROI for you and there's no ROI for the other person, then there's no point being in a partnership. So these are the 3 key values I recommend to look out for when you're looking for a partner for a specific career or business purpose. Now let's talk about how to nurture and maintain professional relationships. And I'm hoping this will help with those who struggle with when you get to the event and after the event, what happens. Great partnerships don't just happen. You have to put effort into it, and not just one-time effort, but ongoing effort into building the relationship, building trust within that partnership. And here are some of the ways you can keep these relationships strong and nurture them into becoming strong pillars within your network, with these 4 keys to maintaining strong partnerships. Communicate openly and regularly. I mentioned this earlier. You have to have frequent check-ins and open and honest discussions about what you need, what you want, your goals in general, what you can do for that person, about what you perceive of that person. Just have a general, natural communication, natural discussions with the person. Add value before you ask for anything. Nobody likes to feel used. Every time you're coming, they see your message or they see your name pop up on their phone call, and they see your name, they're like, "Ugh, I wonder what he wants now. I wonder what she wants now." And then you find that people start to avoid your calls. They ignore your messages because all you do is ask for something. You don't check in how they're doing. You saw some bit of news and you think, oh, you know that they work within that industry. You check up on them. How does this impact, your business or your career ahead? This company is laying off. I hope it's not going to impact you. People want to feel that you are thinking about them in positive ways. You're looking out for them. So be the partner who gives first. Offer insights, referrals, or resources. You see that someone is struggling somewhere, they posted something or they mentioned something in passing about needing, training. And then you share the courses you've attended, how it's helped them, or you refer someone who offers training services at reasonable pricing and say to them, just mention my name. This person is going to give you the best deal. You've become valuable to that person within your network. And most people are grateful. I say most, not everybody. Some people are, I'm trying to be civilized with my choice of language. But some people are just, people you want to avoid. So, and with time, you will learn those who are that way, and then you begin to cut them off, begin to deselect them from your network. Third, set clear expectations from the start. Discuss responsibilities. Now, this is specific to partnerships, not just general networking. When you're going into a partnership with someone, you have to be clear what your expectations are. They have to be clear what theirs is. So you have to be clear about yours, and then you have to be clear about theirs. So you discuss responsibilities. Who does what, when, and how? How are we going to ensure transparency? Who does the paperwork? Who does the meetings? Who does the sales, the marketing? And how do we negotiate, or how do we find a middle ground when we both disagree? You have to discuss all of this upfront. Most relationships and partnerships break down because expectations have not been made clear. Finally, solve conflicts early. If you leave it and it festers, then it gets bigger than it should have been. So address those small issues before they grow into big problems. How many of you know okay, I think we're too many for us to know what everybody does. But I'm going to encourage you this is something I call a partner match game, which is where you think about your own career or your business and write down a skill or a resource that you can offer to a partner, a skill or a resource that you need from a partner, and then you network with each other and find someone who might complement your needs. Usually this is best for it's easier for a physical seminar, but it is still something that you can do with each other. I'm not sure how. Maybe Fortune has ideas how we can do that here. But I'm going to paste this so that you can figure it out and think ways. You don't have to do it now. You can maybe connect with people who are part of this webinar and then reach out to them either on LinkedIn or through the group and discuss these elements. Let me post that here now, the partner match game. So you connect with someone who might complement your needs. 1 second. Yes, that's I would call it a challenge of sorts. Hopefully it helps. Now let's talk about some of the 3 biggest mistakes that we sometimes make when it comes to partnerships. This can also sort of overlap with building your wider network. Think of a partnership that didn't work out for you. or a friendship even that didn't work out for you. It could be in business, it could be in personal aspect of life. What went wrong? If you think about it now, what went wrong and how could it have been handled differently or better? Because sometimes with hindsight, we look back and think, why did this even end? It wasn't such a big thing. It could have been resolved in XYZ ways. We've all been in those situations where after the partnership ended or didn't work out, whether it's a business partnership, whether it's a work partnership, whether it's an academic partnership. And then when it breaks down, we think back on it and realize we could have handled it differently or better, approached it differently, interacted with our partner in a different way, or just made certain decisions or actions that could have circumvented the breakdown of the partnership. So sometimes a lack of clear agreements is what happens. You have to write things down. That's one of the things I really love about Estonia, doing business in Estonia. Everything is written down and signed. We have the history of verbal agreements. Now my guy, he's my friend. We know what's up. He's my cousin, he's my family, even if they are blood relatives. A handshake, verbal agreements is not enough with formal partnerships, with entrepreneurial partnerships, especially. Many failed partnerships happen because financials aren't discussed clearly and they are not transparent. Somebody's just doing the calculations in their head and then sharing info. Yeah, this person brought that, and we made money from this business. But where is the proof? Where is the evidence? At some point, the other person is going to feel that something's not quite right. So you have to be clear, make your agreements, and let your agreements be cast in stone. One-sided relationships. I went to a seminar, I think it was in November or December, where some lady from the US was talking about a client of theirs, one of the unicorns here in Estonia, a client of theirs. She didn't say the name because, of course, can't. But she said that a lot of people see one person very visible. The other co-founder is not very visible, and they're having problems. Such huge problems that they are trying to buy out the visible one, because the visible one is positioning himself as the CEO and founder and the alpha and the omega, and the other person is just behind the scenes doing all of the work. But the other person is getting the accolades because they are the ones who go to, the events. They're the smooth talker, the brand image kind of person. And the other person is just someone who wants to roll up their sleeves and, sit in the back with the developers and get things done. At some point, one person is going to feel that they are doing too much work. When was this supposed to end? 5 o'clock or 5:30? 5:30, I think.
5:30.
Okay. Just want to be sure I'm moving at a good pace. So yes, so the solution for this would be to balance expectations and regularly reassess the workloads and the responsibilities so that nobody's feeling left out, unseen, and unheard. Finally, lack of an exit strategy. Yes, I know nobody goes into partnerships or relationships envisioning the end. And being a Nigerian, we would think it can never be me, or God forbid. But God forbid is not enough. Sometimes things end, partnerships end, but the trick is to make sure that it ends amicably, on good notes, because you still want to keep that partner who had that value and impact to add to you anyway in the beginning. You need to keep them in your network because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So have a clear exit plan for when things change, whether it's the business objectives that's changed, whether it's what you want personally out of the partnership or what the partner wants out of the partnership, whatever it is, when things change, have an exit plan. So, again, I would say in summary that great partnerships are like great friendships. They require trust, they require alignment, and they require effort. Imagine you're working on a major project again, and you have to look for somebody. A lot of the times you look in your community, right? You look around people you already are a part of. So we're going to talk about how communities help professionals grow and your business expand. Finding and engaging with the right professional communities, the power of personal branding in community building, and then online versus offline community engagement strategies. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to always be in the right place at the right time and getting, the opportunities? They find new job opportunities, they find new clients, and they find collaborations, and it seems so effortless. Like they just have to breathe and these things are landing in their lap. I've had people tell me, you're so lucky. You're so lucky. No, it's not luck. There's a lot of hard work involved. Then people who say, oh yeah, it's because you have an Estonian partner, or you have an Estonian friend. No, it's not. The secret is not luck, it's community building. So whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a freelancer, whether you're a corporate professional, being part of a strong professional community can accelerate your success. I started with the Estonian HR Society and branched into other networks. The seminar I mentioned is some Facebook, I can't even remember what it's called, Facebook group I signed up with, I joined, and they have periodic seminars and conferences, and I show up for them. So these are ways you can also leverage and grow your business and your professional brand through your community. Now, quick question. Are you anyone here actively involved in a professional or business community? The Ndigbo Association is a social community, so we're not including that. So is anyone here actively involved in a professional or business community, whether it's on LinkedIn, Facebook, WhatsApp, Telegram, wherever? Okay, Lawrence says yes. If you say yes, you can type what it is, or you can raise your hand and share what it is. And then this is also an opportunity, if you're not a part of one, to get ideas on which kinds of professional communities you can join. So Lawrence, if you'd like to share which one? Apart from Lawrence, nobody else is part of a professional or business group or community. Okay, we need to change that after this webinar.
Okay, so there is this group that I joined on Facebook, and then they moved to WhatsApp. It's kind of have a whole different other groups joined together. They're called Friday After Work. And then there is another one also called Daily Meetup. It's a kind of it's more like a social. It started as a social group, but then every weekend we have a gathering where a lot of people, where we exchange ideas basically, and most of the time we also talk about how you can maybe expand your career, what course you can study. Maybe, for example, you want to apply for a certain job, and you can discuss this. Some people in that position can offer you some online lessons that you can take in order to gain more understanding of the job that you are trying to apply, and a lot of other stuffs as well.
That's brilliant, Lawrence. And Sam, no, not like experts in Estonia. That's a social group. That's a social group. So, for example, I know there's a network of marketing professionals in Estonia, so sort of like a marketing association for marketing professionals. Then, of course, the Estonian HR Society, which I belong to. I'm pretty sure there are a whole bunch of others. Then there's Toastmasters. There's a whole lot of them, even on Facebook. So I would encourage you to look out for some. And you can search them on Google, you can search them on Facebook, you can search them on LinkedIn. So let's talk about how communities help professionals grow and businesses expand. Already Lawrence shared some insights, so I'm going to just breeze through this. They help you with networking at scale because a strong community already gives you that access. Let's call it a one-stop shop access to mentors, collaborators, partners, and clients without you having to do a one-on-one. Looking for these people. And then I think who was it who mentioned that they follow, Casey mentioned that they follow business people. That's nice. It is good, but it's not a community. A community gives you wider access. This is just one person, one perspective you're going to be exposing yourself to, but a community would give you a variety of opportunities to access key collaborators, to access mentors, and to also provide your own value, give your own value, or let's say expose your own value to a wider reach. That's what a community does for you. And then when it comes to knowledge sharing, you have more people that you can learn from who have a shared experience, especially if it's a professional specific industry, or even whether it's a business industry or a professional industry. Then you have people who have the same struggles, challenges, and who are impacted by the same policies, who have navigated these challenges and can share how they did it to make life a little easier for you. Active members of professional communities get job referrals. I already mentioned that earlier about how being a part of the EHRS has helped me. So it definitely helps to position you as a credible contact within the community. And then finally, of course, it helps with business growth. Many companies use brand advocates to drive their sales. And who was it I was talking to somewhere? They kept talking about a specific product and brand. You would think that they were business owners or shareholders. No, they're just people who are part of that community, and the values and the goals and the objectives of that community resonates and aligns with theirs. So of course they speak passionately about it. They become unconscious advocates. So that helps businesses. I've gotten client referrals from people within the Estonian HR Society or who are affiliated to the HR community or the career development community, who then send clients my way. It helps. So you need to be part of a community. It's not enough to just be part of a group, and an active part of the community as well, not just a member, a floor member, as we like to say. So I'd mentioned industry-specific groups. You can find them on LinkedIn. You can find them on Facebook. I don't know how finding them on Slack and Discord is easier. Some people also have Telegram professional groups and communities, so you can find them there. I'd mentioned Toastmasters earlier, Chamber of Commerce. I think IEE has to do with entrepreneurs, and then women in tech. So whatever it is that your field is or that you're interested in, there is an existing community for it. I doubt that there is something that you cannot find a community for already existing. And then sometimes after you've joined that community, you can build your own community, but that's a story for another day. And then local and global meetups. And there are platforms that help you attend, virtual. Thank God for technology. You don't have to just be restricted to your physical geographical location. You can attend conferences, seminars, join communities that span the world. Now, you need to understand also that not all communities will benefit you. So you need to find the right ones that align with your goals. And these are where you start to find them. You can start from the individuals you connect with, people who impact you, you feel are valuable to your career or business growth. Find out what networks they belong to, what communities they belong to, and then join up. That's how you do it. I joined the EHS because the lady who I met during a job career thing was one of the co-founders. And then I joined, and here we are. So those are one of the easy ways that you can find a community to join in. You need to join communities. It's a bit it's I don't want to say disheartening to me that the very few here are in structured communities, but it's something that is very important. Yes, Lawrence.
How do you deal with, should I say, inferiority complex when it comes to community engagement? For example, when this community kind of organize a certain event, but when you look at the set of people in the event, you feel like it's not suitable for you, it's not a place where you fit in.
Well, it depends on why you believe that person believes they don't fit in. But let's not use the word inferiority complex. Let's call it, what's the word? There's a different word, imposter syndrome. That's I would say, the corporate term for it, which is where sometimes you feel you should not be there because you don't fit in,
Right.
because you feel that everybody else there is super awesome and you're not quite that awesome yet. Now, the thing is, everybody has experiences at some point imposter syndrome. And what even makes it a unique subject for me, I remember just before I came to Estonia, okay, no, before I moved to England, I have a friend. He was recently made the MD and CEO of Vitol. Vitol is possibly one of the largest oil servicing companies in the world. Most people don't hear about it because it's behind the scenes. It's the company behind the Shells and the Chevrons and all of those companies. So he was made the CEO. This is a Nigerian dude for the African business, I think Africa and Middle East. This man who was given this job was telling me that when he sits at meetings and he's looking at the people in the meetings he's in, people who are deferring to him, and he's talking people like the likes of Dangote and some other big names I can't even recall. And I'm looking at him and thinking, this person is also someone I look up to. And he's telling me that he suffers imposter syndrome, aka inferiority complex. That means anybody can. So I was then giving him advice and saying, you know what? You deserve this role. You deserve a seat at the table. They wouldn't have given it to you. They wouldn't have invited you to that table if they didn't feel that you were worthy. And even if you got there by chance, then you have to believe in yourself that you have something of value that you can give, and everybody does. It's easier said than done, I know, because even I experience it. I go to some places I don't know, you just grab the whole thing. I don't know the English word for that. But you just have to sometimes, just tighten your belt and think your top 3 successes. Okay, this is a more practical trick to help. Think of your top 3 successes, or your top 3 impacts that you've made in whether it's your job or in the lives of others, and tell yourself, I did that, and that should give you a bit of, motivation to stick with it. Yes, Stanley.
Yeah, thank you so much for all the insights you are sharing.
You're welcome.
I have some sort of follow-up question to the question Lawrence asked. And I will start by explaining my situation several years ago. And currently, sometimes I still find myself in such situation. Okay, so I'm in a company. I'm the only Black in the company. Sometimes we do have meetings, but because every other person is an Estonian, the meeting is conducted in an Estonian language. And probably my manager will just come close to explain what is being said in the meeting. It's like getting a second-hand
information.
Second-hand information. So how do you, and listening to you for a few minutes now, I feel you have somehow overcome or faced similar challenge, because you said you were in a kind of meeting and you were the only Black and they were speaking Estonian language and you just tried to fit in. So how do you blend in a place that it seems as though you couldn't fit in? How do you blend? How do you fit in, basically, in a culture or setup or setting that seems a bit difficult? Maybe language barrier, maybe some other things. How do you do that?
I don't want to fit in.
Okay.
Because I can never fit in. You will always be different. You will always stand out as different. So embrace that difference. In pretty much everywhere I've worked since moving to Estonia, I've been the only African. With the exception of, I have been in meetings where it's in Estonian, with the exception of most of it, yeah, it's English and a mix. But with this new appointment I got with the Tallinn city government, of course, it's the government. So that means meetings and everything is in Estonian. So what I do during meetings, when I have meetings at the board, I have my phone, I open my language app, and it's translating and transcribing what they're saying. And I'm making notes of what's important to me or questions. And then when they ask something kusimus, I raise my hand, mulong kusimus, and then I ask it in English. If the person who was making the presentation doesn't speak English, then the director translates my question to the person answers, and then my director translates. Or she asks that, did my app help? And then I read through it and like, yeah, this is what my app says. And then she either adds more or makes corrections. But you have to, don't shrink, don't hide yourself. Just consider it that the only barrier is the language barrier. Forget everything else. Forget everything else and find ways to make your mark, to be present. So that when people leave that meeting and they're discussing the questions and the challenges and whatever, they remember the question you asked. If you had a valid question, if you don't have, that's fine. But at least be present and be part of the meeting. Don't tune out because you don't understand. Sometimes they make a joke and they laugh. You can ask them, what happened? What happened? I do that. Now, it might be because I'm a bit of an extrovert. Well, my sister says I'm not, but that I pretend I'm an extrovert. But if you have to fake it to make it, just do it. Do what you have to do to survive, to get to the point where you don't need to do that anymore. I hope that helped. This is what I do personally. It might not apply to everybody, or some other person might think, oh, that's just a silly way to do it. But it's what's worked for me for the past 3.5 years I've been in Estonia.
Thank you so much. I think we need to, I'll find ways to speak to you personally, because I think it takes a lot of effort, emotional effort,
It does.
to do all of that. Yeah.
It does. And it takes a toll. Sometimes you're exhausted. But what's the opposite of, not doing what you need to do? It's giving up. And why would you want to give up? You can't. So that's what I do. Okay, so the power of personal branding. I'm going to just, for this, I'm going to use myself as an example. And that's because I can speak very categorically about how all of the things I'm sharing here are things or tips and tricks and strategies that I've used for myself as well as for others who have come to me and have seen that they work, especially if people are willing to put in the work, because it's work. You have to stand out in a way that is, now, sometimes it backfires standing out, because when you are visible, that's when people notice you and can either lift you up or try to drag you down. So it's a double-edged sword. But the opposite of being visible is being invisible. And when you're invisible, the opportunities will never come. Nobody is dragging you down, yes, but nobody is also lifting you up. And the opportunities for you to lift yourself up will not come because you're invisible. So I would rather be visible and take the bad with the good than be invisible and have nothing at all. Yes, thinking only extroverts can is a misconception. Okay, so the power of personal branding. Your personal brand is your reputation. We've got about 15 minutes. I'm going to breeze through. I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more slides. So I'm going to try to breeze through because a lot of it is tied to LinkedIn and social media and projecting your own personal brand as a professional. Your personal brand is your reputation. It's how people perceive you in professional communities. The more valuable you are seen to be in your community, the more opportunities will come your way. Notice the more valuable you are seen to be. Sometimes, for instance, where there's a career opportunity I got, and I asked the person, how did you find me? This person was in the UK. And they said, oh yeah, that I searched the top career brand and HR leaders in Europe and your name popped up. Am I the top career brand, the HR person in Europe? No, but I am seen as. And there lies where the opportunities come from, when you are visible as a brand that is valuable. So let's talk about some key branding strategies. Show up and be consistent. I talked about how I joined the Estonian HR Society. Every meeting they had, I was there. Was it in English? No, but I was there. When they're asking questions, I'm asking questions. When they're asking for ideas, I'm sharing ideas. I'm sharing it in my English. Somebody will translate. Forget about all, the rest is just noise. But show up and be consistent. Now, if you don't have a community or events that you can use, LinkedIn is there. Build credibility through your LinkedIn. I've done that. Now, you might not be strong with writing, posting regularly and all that, but commenting on the content that resonates with you is another way to build credibility. You don't have to be posting content. You don't have to be a LinkedIn content creator. Commenting and engaging with comments and posts that you see is another fantastic and I would say cheap way of building credibility and attracting connections, attracting opportunities. Position yourself as a thought leader. You can do that through the comments. Share your expertise. If you can't create posts, if you can't facilitate webinars and take on speaking engagements, then just comment on what other people are doing. You go to events, be visible, speak up, ask questions, and never be uncomfortable and say, start by saying, this might be a silly question. Never do that. Just ask your question and keep it moving. Share testimonials. You can use that to position yourself as a thought leader. Testimonials of what you did and how it helped you, what you did and how it helped somebody else. Share tips. Those are easy. Thank God for ChatGPT. You can even use that, but I recommend against it because everybody can do it as well. It comes off as bland. But when you tie it to personal experiences, you relate it to personal experiences, then you can do that. So you can do it if you don't want to be posting content, just do it in the comments. When somebody posts something about, being the only African in the team, you can share your experience, what you did, how it helped you. Or you share that there's this particular manager who was always translating and helping you. We all need a mentor in our corner. That resonates with everybody. Again, I've been saying this from almost the very beginning. Give before you ask. Always offer value before seeking anything in return. Sometimes people ask questions under a post that you have an answer to. You don't have to wait for the post creator to answer it. If you've got an answer. You can say, well, this has worked for me, so I'm going to share it here just in case it will work for you, and put it there. And do all of this consistently. Online versus offline community strategies. Pretty much all of it applies. Engaging in a professional community can happen in any of these ways. Offline, online, a mix of both. Personally, I prefer a mix of both. Some people are not comfortable with online. They are not comfortable with just staring at screens and all that. Some people are not comfortable with offline. They are not comfortable talking to people. They prefer, on a computer. And that's fine. Find what works best for you. I can't really talk right now, but I have a question. Well understood that networking is a powerful tool for career growth. So does that mean networking is more important than skills and experience in career growth? Sometimes it is. Unfortunately, we're in the social era now. Your social capital sometimes can be more valuable than your experience, your skills. And it is sad, but it is what it is. Your social capital will get you a foot in the door. It will get you an audience, but of course you have to back it up with substance. So it sort of goes hand in hand. It overlaps. But I would say your network is quite important. Okay. So now this is practical strategies for leveraging your networks and your communities, especially on LinkedIn. And I prioritize LinkedIn a lot because it has been most beneficial to me. Many people join professional networks but don't know how to use them effectively. I know, how many people here have LinkedIn profiles? You can say yes in the comments or just raise your hand if you have a LinkedIn profile. Okay. Sam does, Kit does, okay. Now, my next question is, when was the last time you used it? Or how often, how many times a week do you use it? Do you use, when I say use it, you make a comment, you engage, how many times a week? So 2 times a week, 3 times a week, every day? Somebody's laughing. Probably just created the account and hasn't done anything there in forever. So see, the thing with LinkedIn, whether you are job searching, building a business, or growing your career, LinkedIn is a gold mine for opportunities if you use them right. It's a gold mine for opportunities, but only if you use them right. LinkedIn, first of all, when was the last time you updated your LinkedIn profile? So this is my task for you guys today. Optimize your LinkedIn profile. Audit your headline, your summary, and change your picture if it's old. If it doesn't look like you today, please go and change it. Some people who have pictures that are 20 years old, that they have different hairstyle now. You used to have dreads before. Now your hair is barbed, but the picture on your LinkedIn has dreadlocks. Please make sure your LinkedIn picture looks like you today. Engage regularly. Comment on posts. Share industry insights. Connect with professionals. And when you are connecting, do it tactically. Be strategic about it. Use LinkedIn groups. They exist there. Find them. And find active ones and engage while you are there. For professional groups, you can find them wherever, on LinkedIn as well, Facebook groups, WhatsApp, Telegram. Find them and don't just be a silent floor member. be active, be visible, be seen and be heard, but make sure it's value adding, not just to be a noisemaker. Okay? I'm trying to see. Now, this is a tip for making a lasting impression at networking events. These events can be doors of opportunities, but only if you can stand out and build real connections. Perfect your elevator pitch. How do you introduce yourself and what you do or what you're about to people quickly and in a unique and interesting way such that you grab their attention? For someone like me, I could say I help struggling professionals and teams achieve growth through strategic storytelling and practical frameworks. Then the person can ask me, what kind of stories or what kind of frameworks, what do the frameworks achieve? And we can take the conversation from there. Or it could be worded differently. I'd mentioned earlier to position yourself as a thought leader. Don't rush to collect connections on LinkedIn. You have 100 connections, 500 connections, and then what? You have to turn these connections into genuine relationships by asking interesting and open-ended questions that would lead to conversations, a back and forth conversations. And then follow up at least within 48 hours. Leaving it longer than that just is weird. Send a personalized message. And make it, when I say personalized, not LinkedIn will give you, or whichever app you're using will give you a template. Don't use those templates. We all have them. We all know those templates. I'm trying to read some of the comments of all your guilty, what you're all guilty of. The power of giving before asking. So I'd given this as an example already. If you're not even a content creator, you don't want to post or publish content on LinkedIn or Facebook, wherever, that's fine. But when other people post, the people you follow, you can ride off of that to position yourself as someone who is giving, who's adding value. You can share job openings. Those are easy. You find them somewhere. You can even share them as content. You publish it as a post. That could be your niche, just someone who gathers job openings and putting it there, or career insights or helpful articles and shares it with the network. Connect people who might benefit from knowing each other. I get that a lot when people connect me to somebody or I connect somebody to somebody. You can do that. Offer free advice. The advice can come from your own experience or something you read somewhere. Just be helpful first. One of the biggest mistakes we make in networking is asking for something. The best networkers, they focus on helping first, then receiving later. I already shared how the instances where I give, and I've encouraged people who are within my network and my circle to be volunteers. It helps. It also adds value to you, because when you volunteer, when you're adding value, when you're giving advice and all of that, you are also strengthening your expertise. Now, finally, actionable steps that you can implement. I've already been giving you small challenges and tasks to do, but now let's break it down. I'm reading a comment by Kelechi. Truly, LinkedIn is a gold mine when it comes to professional career development. Yep. Recommend it to a friend who has been struggling with finding a job. He just got an NGO remote job that pays him well. There you go. Last week he said to me, I owe you a lot. There you go. So it's not just Wama saying it. It is facts. Okay. Finally, to truly benefit from networking and your communities, you need to take action. Just knowing the information, having the information. A lot of the stuff I've shared today, you already know. A lot of them are not new, But the question is, where is the action? It's backing up the knowledge with the action that turns into success. So here's what you can do right now to level up your professional connections through this, let's call it your action plan for the next 7 days, okay? Optimize your LinkedIn profile. So go and update your headline, your about section, and your headshot. Your headshot, clear, brightly lit, clear background, like one color background. I see all sorts of pictures. I should have put a sample here, but hey, I'm sure I can describe it. Engage in one online group discussion. So you can comment, you can start a discussion, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's in a Facebook group, Telegram, wherever you belong. If you don't belong to a community, join one within the next 7 days. Attend at least one virtual or in-person networking event. There are a lot that are advertised on LinkedIn. LinkedIn Live. I used to host LinkedIn Live once a month last year. I haven't done that this year. But you can find so many of them. Events that there's a Nigerian guy who has a every Monday morning motivational LinkedIn Live session. You can join that just, to try it out. On Facebook, you can find so many. If you go to the events, you'll find so many events that you can join and be a part of. Give value to your network. So at least within the next 7 days, share a job post, introduce 2 people, offer free advice, do something, one of the things I've shared with you earlier. And finally, follow up with 3 people and connect with them. People you've connected with, maybe on LinkedIn, wherever, follow up with them. Reach out to them, send a message. How are you? How are you doing? What's going on with you? Just find something. And this is all I have to offer for you today. I'm 1 minute ahead of the time, but if anybody has questions, please ask.
Okay, thank you, Mama, for the insightful presentation. And so the floor is right now open for questions. So if you have a question, you can indicate by just writing on the chat. She will call your attention, then you can ask. She misses it, then I'll also alert her to it.
Okay, in the absence of questions, maybe what I can just do is recommend that you take note of the tasks or the action steps for the next 7 days and do it. I will also share the slides if it's something people want. And if you filled out I had shared earlier a sort of form to get your email addresses. So if it's something you're interested in the slides, I can share that as well. But to those who have filled out the form, I've just posted it in the chat again. If you want the PowerPoint slides, I can share it there. In the absence of questions, I guess, Fortune, you can close.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
All right. Thank you so much for the presentation. Really appreciate. So
Thank you.
ladies and
Thank you so much.
We've come to the end of the event, and we
Thank
appreciate
you very
all.
much for the lessons.
Thank you, Mama. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for
All right,
joining. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have
I'll
a
also
good weekend.
the link she pasted here on the group chat in case anyone misses it. Right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.